courteous and helpful at all times, even if there's no direct sale in it. And to that, I would also like to add that, you have to train your staff on how to deal with the small complaints so that you're not pushing off the client. Like, when you have a problem, let's say you go to the staff or you go to the manager or whatever, and you say, okay, this situation isn't right, my haircut didn't come out right, my color's not right, or whatever the case may be, and they say, well, okay, I have to check with somebody to get an answer to see how we can help you. That is not good. Somebody should be there in charge with training that knows how to answer that question right now or deal with that situation right now, rather than pass the buck and get back to you.
Absolutely. But you know what, without spinning off into a totally another conversation, you have to wonder, is there a bit of a disconnect between retailers that train, small retailers and specialty retailers that train their staff, and bigger multinational retailers, large chains, and how they train their staff? Because you find generally that service does tend to be generally better when you go to a store where the owner's behind the counter, or they've had 3 or 4 employees and those same employees are there all the time and they feel like they have a bit of an ownership in the business. Then when you go to a very large 100,000 square foot department store retailer, and people, they come and go, they're making minimum wage, do you think internally that might be an issue?
I do think, and I think that's also what gave rise to the specialty boutiques being recreated, and I think personally that the department stores, look at Eaton's, for example. Had they had a little more training and dealt a little bit more with these problems, it's possible they would still be around today. But they're not, I think that no matter how big a department store gets, they could still emulate a little bit more of the mom and pop approach by having the staff, like the hierarchy of the staff in place with the right training.
Having heard that though, there's a lot of mom and pop operations that have horrible customer service. Where
they need to be watching your show.
That's right. They need to be paying attention to this segment right here. And on the flip side, and I hate to say it, but I think Walmart has really gone out of their way to have excellent customer service.
Well, they do.
They're doing everything a big company can do to do that.
I'd say it's improved, though. There was a time when that wasn't the case.
But they have the hierarchy in place, Hugh, and they also they employ a little bit of that small town touch too, because when you walk through the door, they have a greeter there, for example. They try and keep at least 5 people on at the customer service desk at all times, so the lineups aren't horrendous. And they have people on the floor to help you, but not always. But I think also some of these department stores have put in these price checker machines so that you can do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And
I hate that.
I don't I find that an avoidance of customer service, not a help.
Absolutely. They got that at the Canadian Tire across the street, and I never I insist that somebody check me through.
And I think that's a point too, like we could speak about, is to what degree do you replace the body with the machine?
Yeah.
I've always wondered about that. The Walmart near me, the self-checkouts, and actually I think there's a Walmart near both of us. It's the same one, because they're kind of in the same part of the city.
Yeah.
The self-checkouts, which I don't mind, I like the self-checkouts, but a lot of times they're down. Yeah. And they don't add extra people to the human checkout counters, whatever, for lack of a better term. So you get these huge lines, and I don't understand why self-checkouts are down anyway. There's no person. Like, did the computer walk off? Computer on break? Do computers get breaks? I don't know.
No.
Maybe at Walmart they do, because whenever I go there, they're always down. And
I think that the more serious matter here is that, to what extent have we replaced people with computers and expecting the computer to provide the human touch or the customer service that so we don't have to.
But don't you think one day they'll program computers and robots, Jeanette, to have the even better customer service than humans can provide?
Well, if they can program them with exceptional training and control them, which is basically because you can't control a person.
If the computer says yes all the time, I'd be okay with that. I have a problem. Can I get a refund? Yes. All the time. If do I have to show you my bill? No. I didn't even buy this product here. Can I still return it? Yes. That would be, I think, the best customer service. What do you think, Jeanette? That would be like,
That would be
I would
amazing,
shop
but
at that store all the time.
That's what we're saying, though. The training that should be in a human could easily be put into a robot, right? But the truth is, I think that you should train a live body to do the same thing and be much more helpful. Then, you know, unless then it all comes down to cost, right? Sometimes there isn't customer service in place.
You know, that's a good point, because a lot of companies are facing cost issues, you know, bottom line, financial,
let staff go, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And they're a lot of times they let the customer service people go first. I've seen.
Absolutely.
Because they don't really value it like the
That's
way we're
right.
talking about here today.
They
That's
let
the
it
interface
slide.
with the customer that is so valuable.
Well, another point too is that, you know, you remember the expression, "The customer's always right."
See, I don't believe that. Can I go out on a
Okay.
limb?
Yeah.
Challenge me, Mark.
I totally
Yeah.
don't believe that. I do believe that the customer is king or queen.
Yeah.
But I do not believe that the customer is always right. For example, if someone comes into your store, if you're a store, someone comes in and they say, this product is awful, I want my money back, it's not doing what I wanted to, I'm very disappointed, and you say, do you have the receipt? And yes, here's my receipt, and then you look at the receipt and they didn't even buy it from you. So is the customer right?
No.
Well, no, they're not right. So what do? Do you say, well, get the F out of here, you know, you didn't buy it from us, or you say, you know what, I mean, I guess you're at a fork in the road there. I mean, you can really go out on a limb and say, you know, well, I can't take it back, but I can help you get something else, and I'll try to adjust the pricing for you. That could be an opportunity to make a sale where you otherwise wouldn't. Or you can just say, you know, I'm really sorry, I wish I could help you, but it seems you didn't buy the product from us. You know,
Yeah, but that's an isolated case. You know, I'm talking about a client who actually did use your product or service.
well, sure, but then that comes down to, are they right or are they king? I mean, no, just because they're not always right doesn't mean that they're not always
or
not
queen,
right.
as the case may be.
I have to say I agree with Mark on this one, and I think sometimes too we're talking about the two-way nature of the relationship between
Right.
companies and their customers. I think the same applies when things go wrong with a customer. Like, I think sometimes a company can and perhaps should say, or anybody doing business, you know what? Thanks, but I don't want you as a customer anymore. Like, either that maybe they're crazy, maybe they're unreasonable, to the point where they're going to start to cost you money and hinder your
Sure.
business. And it's sometimes
And that's, again, an isolated case.
it sure it is, but I think that's part of the customer service thing, is that sometimes you have to fire your customers if they're
Yes,
not the right fit for you.
That's true. That's true. You do, but I also think that you should try your best to satisfy the customer while he or she is still your customer, because it's much harder to keep getting new customers and creating new business than it is to go back. It's actually more costly as well to do that than to try and get an upsell or a repeat sale from a customer that you already have.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Turning an angry customer into a happy customer. I mean, you'll get a customer for life. I guess the big question is how far do you want to bend? I mean, if that customer is asking for a lot or asking for things that maybe they genuinely aren't entitled to, you know, it's great to have, you know, excellent customer service, but
Yeah,
you know,
but
how far do you
again,
go?
this is to me an issue outside of customer service. That's an issue of dealing with problematic clients and knowing
But that's the
when to
ultimate
fire
test of
them.
customer service, isn't it? The bigger the problem, the greater the test of your customer service policies. It's easy to have great customer service when everything's going great, but it's when you get that irate customer walking through your door, I think that's the ultimate test of customer service.
I think the ultimate test is how you deal with it.
Exactly, that's what I mean, yeah.
And that's, to me, is you have to apply those PR skills, because that's, you know, customer service is a part of PR. It's a
For
part
sure.
of marketing.
Yeah.
And yes, at some point you do have to assess if a client is a problem client or not a good fit, how to politely get rid of
Have
them.
you ever fired a client, Jeanette? I'm wondering.
Actually, no, I never had to,
No?
Mark. Because
Really?
you know
Wow.
why? Because I do my homework up front and I qualify up front, and that's important. You know, I have a whole criteria to qualify, and if it's not a good match, I learn that before I even get going to have a problem client.
That's a good policy. I don't pre-qualify personally, but I have terminated a couple relationships over the years with clients. You know, it happens. It's a relationship